And welcome to Undercover, where we catch up with Vanessa Amorosi. And congratulations, the #1 record in the country.
Thank you. We've been celebrating all weekend.
I bet you have. Where were you when you heard the news?
I was working in Perth, about to do a gig,
Yeah.
and my manager called me and said, no, I've got some news, and he made out like it was bad news. And I'm like, oh, you're going to be joking, no one liked it. So he was cruel too. It felt like forever. And he said, listen, you need to call me back on the landline. And I'm like, all right, I'll call you back on the landline. And then when I called back, I was on speakerphone. And he goes, so, the chart came in and it was #1. And I was like, did you say #1? You're cutting out. Did you say #1 with a 1? Did they like it? Yeah. And then after that, it was just a lot of screaming and distortion.
Yeah. But this is your first #1.
Yeah. Took me 10 years, but I got there. I got there. Yeah.
So obviously a very good feeling.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I've had #1 albums, but I've never had a #1 single. And I remember as a kid just, please like it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it being this long and working so hard to get it, I appreciate it so much more. It means so much more now. So
yeah,
we're very, very happy.
And very decent figures too.
I know. I can't believe it. I really, when I was writing this album, I was horrified that it was too brutal, it was too honest and very, very edgy, and that it probably would frighten most of the people that have supported my career. And,
Hazardous, in other words.
Yeah, the album is very out there. So with this single, we were always sort of a little nervous with how the public would, receive this track and whether my fans would embrace this new sound and being so honest.
Well, it's coming 18 months off the back of the last album, which came 6 years off the back of the previous one. So, this is like back into the studio very, very quickly. Why was that?
I had a lot to say.
Yeah?
Yeah, with the last album I really censored it, and I kept my topics so that they could be taken 3 or 4 different ways. But this album is to the point. There's no other way to take what I'm saying, so...
Because I guess the power must feel like, ancient to you now.
Feels like another person.
Does it?
Every time I see like playbacks of film clips or footage or interviews from me, I'm just like, who is that person? I have no idea how I was even feeling back then. It's so strange.
Yeah. But you were so young, weren't you, when you kicked off in this biz? Yeah,
very, very young. And I mean, I was, even before I had a record out, I was working nearly every night of the week as a singer in bands, and I was like 12, something crazy. I used to think I was so old at 12.
So were you always going to be a performer? Was there like any other career path that you could have gone down?
Yeah, well, because I started so young, I ended up finding management, but then, we got knocked back with the album and everyone said it's not going to work, the songs are no good, go away. So it was sort of really breaking my heart really as a kid. So I was looking into other options to do other things and just deleting music altogether. I mean, I'm sure I would have continued doing music somewhere, but I just thought, well, I'm not good enough to be, an Australian artist. So
what would you have been?
I wanted to go to the army. I wanted to drive trucks because we weren't allowed to be gunmen on the ground. So I thought, driving trucks would be cool and disarming and mantling bombs would be good. I thought about... That was my main thought about. And then other from that, I had the dream of maybe I could race cars. Maybe I could be like the chick that races bikes and cars. Yeah. That was the next thing.
So you're a bit of a tomboy as a kid then?
Still am.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just dress up now a lot more. But give me a good car and a bike and I'll be on it.
Fair enough. Just talking about the album, The Power, do you ever go back and revisit that? Do you pull out the old records and put them on and listen to them still?
No.
Yeah?
No, never. I think it would just freak me out. It really would. Because I sound like a little kid and I don't recognise that vocal. I really cannot explain it. It's so strange. Even when the Olympics footage comes up, I'm like, how did I do that? Wow. What was going on at that time? Like, it's just so strange.
Do you even remember the lyrics to Have a Look anymore?
Oh, I do, because I constantly keep touring, so I'm always revamping all those songs and making them new and interesting to, excite the people that have maybe seen the show a couple of times. So yeah, I remember the lyrics.
Are they-
Occasionally I have little blank spots and I fill in some different stuff in there, but
You're not doing the Elvis Costello yet, where you have to put the lyric sheet in front and sort of read the lyrics as you sing the song.
No, not yet. But I do have a thing where if I can't remember the first line of the verse of the song, I can't recall the whole song. So the moment that someone says it is this line, then the whole song, like in my brain, goes and it's there. So sometimes I do, if it's been a while, I'll just write down the first lyric of the verse, and then that'll set me off, and the computer kicks in. Sometimes I have to reboot it.
At least until you turn 30, and then things change again.
And then I'm all downhill, apparently.
Because it's coming soon.
Hey, I'm still 22. I keep telling people I'm so immature and I haven't grown up. I'm going to be 22, I'd say, for another 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, and you've been 22 for 5 or 6 years now too.
And and it's not helping.
Yeah, the never-ending 22-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah.